Hello, Noam. It's great to see you again.
Hello, Jackie. It's a fun opportunity to finally get to record and to
Yes.
speak to each other and share.
Indeed, we've always had such amazingly deep and insightful conversations, and we've always said we wish we were recording this, and so here we are.
Beautiful. Shall we dive in?
Let's go straight in. So maybe let's start there, given that it's in the ether at the moment. Maybe let's talk about boundaries. I've just had an experience where I feel there was some miscommunication or misunderstanding around times, and someone didn't show up when we'd agreed. And then when I left, they got really offended that after waiting for them for 37 minutes, I actually left. And then they didn't know how to get to where I was meeting, where we were going. We were going to a dance, and I'd sent the details, but they had a communication breakdown on their side. So here I am wondering, where's this person? When are they coming? Are they coming? Now they couldn't get where they needed to go and left, and I'm sitting waiting for them, and I didn't really enjoy my dance. And then today we're going to speak it through, and once again agreed a time, and 10 minutes later this person hasn't shown up. And so it's the same pattern of not showing up at an agreed time and then me not waiting around for the conversation.
Let's step back a minute.
Mm.
What's the purpose of boundaries to begin with for you?
Well, the purpose of a boundary is to say, certainly around time, is I value and respect my own time. It's important to me. And when somebody does not show up and respect my time according to how we've agreed, it feels disrespectful to me. It feels like my
And when
time
it
doesn't
feels
matter.
disrespectful, what comes up for you when you feel disrespected or that there's no consideration?
Well, it makes me angry and frustrated, obviously. And in the context of the dance, it wasn't just about me. I had somebody else with me. There were 7 people waiting to start the dance that I asked, said, we're on our way. So not only was my time disrespected, 7 other people's time because of me what was disrespected. So that reflects poorly on me because I've invited these people along. So that's my reputation, it not only for myself, but for other people. And I pride myself on being on time and respecting other people's time as best as possible.
So boundaries are extremely important in order to have a clear understanding, connection. And when these are violated or not considered, it
Mm.
triggers anger, it triggers unsafety, confusion, anxiety.
Yeah,
And
where
that's
is
not
this
a good feeling.
person? I'm waiting for you. Where are you? Are you okay? Has something happened to you? I'm now, my care has been activated, but it causes anxiety for me and stress.
And being able to release and talk about it, I'm just
Mm.
curious how that feels because I'm sure that that also has its own triggers, or I'm guessing.
I'm very mindful of speaking about other people and not speaking directly to them. So my first port of call would be let's have the conversation when I'm in a really calm state and I've processed it. Let's speak it through so that I can share this is how I felt about it in that moment. This is the consequence of what happened. It's not just about you, it's about me, it's about the 7 other people. It's the let me understand what actually happened in your own thinking as to why you were so late. Maybe there's a really good reason for that. Maybe there's something you're not seeing that you need to see in terms of your planning and how that is affecting everything in your life.
So essentially, what I'm hearing is there's a need, first of all, maybe for self-centering before you go and try and fix it or not. And my own experience is very similar. When I'm activated, when I'm triggered, not the best time for me to address directly. First, I've got to give myself some empathy. I'm feeling shame, I'm feeling confused, I'm feeling triggered. Diffusing it so that I can then go and have that conversation about what's alive in me, what's alive in you, and how can we come to a new understanding here.
So I think, as you're saying, is the self-regulation to come back to center and to acknowledge the trigger and the feeling that it actually activates within you, and sitting and breathing through that, because now it's been reactivated again. It's the same pattern that has played itself out in trying to repair. That person has done exactly the same thing. She's replayed and reactivated the same pattern of me feeling my time disrespected and waiting.
I resonate because to me, for lack of a better way of saying it, we get the same lessons over and over again. It's the same patterns over and over again. If I have an issue with time, and I do have an issue with time, I love being on time, and I really get triggered when people disrespect, or as I perceive it, disrespect my time. And that it's a tricky one because when I do have that empathy, when I can calm myself down, a lot of times it's my own journey of dealing with time, and there's a history there.
Mm.
It's not a new thing. My whole life has been centered around being on time, about respecting other people's time.
What's interesting is I had a client this morning who also arrived 17 minutes late for a session. And I have a rule around time, and that's 15 minutes grace. And I think that's fair to give people 15 minutes grace. And maybe I'm too generous, but after 15 minutes, that's enough. And then I leave. This time I gave more grace, but I think it's like generous, but maybe it's too generous. I don't know. Let's unpack this idea around time and why we have these triggers around time.
So I'll jump in and say that time to me is a boundary, potential boundary.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm hearing you, I'm hearing a 15 minutes grace period. After that, you're checked out. For me, it's after that, it's your time, not my time. I'll give you 15 minutes extra, but after that, it's my time. So my way of dealing with it is by claiming my needs. And in this case, my need is to value my own time.
Mm.
And if you're late, that's how you value your time. I'm sorry, but you're not going to take more of my time. So that boundary is come whenever you want. It's your time. You're responsible for it
Mm.
as much as I am. And we
Yeah.
come to an understanding. If you come after 20 minutes, your session's going to be 5 minutes shorter because
Mm.
my grace period is 15 minutes.
So with the client, I actually ended the session earlier. There was a hard stop at the time we'd agreed to a hard stop. So they lost out on the time that was their time and my time. With this one, it's having a little bit more complexity. But maybe where we could go now is, what are the beliefs that we hold around time? Time is money. There's that belief that we hold, or what is time?
It's a measure. It's a
Mm-hmm.
value measure for many people. If you're not on time, then what does that mean about me? How do I relate to myself? The belief is that time is not infinite. Let's start with that. So, how do I delegate my time? How do you delegate your time? And what can we agree on? Can we come to an understanding? You believe that being 20 minutes late is okay. I don't. There's a conflict.
So I think there's a belief that how you respect my time tells me how much I matter to you, how
Ah,
important I am to
beautiful.
you, whether you really value me and respect me or not. Have you
Ye-
even considered me?
Yes. And that is really the mirror here. When someone doesn't respect my time, my automatic pilot is, you're not valuing me. You're disrespecting me. Now I'm going to bring in nonviolent communication, which is clearly we have different needs, different values, and there is a conflict. Now, the conflict is also the opportunity because we're not on the same page. If I feel that you're not respecting my time, is it your responsibility to fix it?
Is it a responsibility or is it an opportunity?
Take your pick. There is an opportunity. How do you get to the opportunity instead of fixating on the limitation?
Well, the question is it right? Is it true because somebody doesn't show up on time that they don't value you and you don't matter and they haven't considered you? Is that the truth?
Apparently, from personal experience, no.
So then what might the truth be? Just can I take a second here and just pause the
Absolutely.
recording? So for the viewers, my father just popped in and I needed to go and turn off the oven, which was an interruption in our session. And the concept of time that we were talking about, how I was not aware of or hadn't remembered that I would need to go and just take care of dinner for my 82-year-old dad in the middle of this conversation.
I'm curious, what made this event different than the other events? Why is this one okay versus other ones which are not okay?
I don't know. You tell me what
That's
might be different. I'm not sure. How did you feel
uh,
versus other times where time was an issue?
First of all, I found the whole incident interesting because it was so timely, so to speak. And I could see that there was tolerance, there was acceptance. This is a situation and primarily acceptance that these things do happen. Whereas in other situations, like meeting someone on time and they don't show up on time, there's a lot of judgments that come up towards myself, towards the other, and without clarifying, because these judgments can be broken down. What's
Mm-hmm.
the need? What's standing behind it?
Mm-hmm.
So it was fascinating to see how, in this case, it didn't trigger you as much. It may have brought up some other feelings.
Look, I think for me, this was the one where I had miscalculated or not thought through the times properly, given that supper time is always 5:30 with my father. And I'd agreed to have this conversation with you at 6 o'clock rather than 6:30, which then wouldn't have interrupted our conversation because I'd accounted for my responsibilities. It's my responsibility to make sure dinner is ready for my father on time. So,
So basically, you made a mistake.
sure, exactly,
And the
miscalculated.
beauty is that when you take a responsibility for your mistake, there's a way out. There's a way to come to a new understanding. On our next recording, can we start an hour later?
Definitely, that would work much better for me. Thank you
And
for
then we have
understanding that.
exactly. So we're looking at how to diffuse situations which are triggering. And time is a trigger.
And then also, I think understanding that some people, if I say 4 o'clock, it's 4 o'clock. It's not 10 past 4 or quarter past 4 or quarter to 4. My 4 o'clock, when I commit to time, means 4 o'clock. For other people, it's 4 o'clock ish.
Let's take it one step further. It's 4 o'clock. I'm still not here. What do you do?
Well, I guess you could ask a clarifying question at that point to say, what is your expected time of arrival? So 20 more minutes. Potentially, then it will only leave us with X amount of time. Is that enough time for us to do what we first intended to do or not? Can we get it done in the time that's left? Because I have another appointment immediately thereafter.
So,
So
in order for you to honor your time, forget me a minute. What do you need to do?
it's the boundary, right? It's the saying, no matter what, I'm leaving at this time, no matter
Yep,
what time you
clarity.
arrive.
Clarity. Look, I'm giving you a 5-10 minute grace. After that, I'm going to go to dance because that's what I'm committed to.
See, the thing is, if someone's on a train, you can't communicate with them. They are out of communication.
Can you set it up in advance just to understand this is how what's going to happen? Because you can anticipate they might be on a train.
I thought I had clearly communicated that the dance happens at 3 o'clock. I will be at the station at 2:30 waiting to collect you. The understanding is then that you go away and see how long it's going to take you to get from your house to the station and travel time. I'm assuming you taking responsibility for your planning of your time to arrive at the time we've agreed for me to collect you at the station.
Agreed, but this is where the boundaries are for me. I don't assume. I'm telling you, I'm going to be there at 4 o'clock. I'll wait there 5, 10 minutes. After that, I'm going to move forward. And it's not because I don't care for you or don't want to do.
So in my mind, I'm not anticipating that I should have to communicate that I'm going to wait for you 10 minutes if you're late. My assumption is if I say we're meeting at 2:30, we have an agreement.
Are you
And
setting yourself up well in this case? If you're assuming that I should know better, I should be there by, are you setting yourself up for disappointment or for frustration?
I'm assuming other people operate with time in the way that I do, which is obviously.
No, that's what I've realized. No, we have different time understanding of time. So for me, I'd rather just be clear with you. I'll wait for you 10, 15 minutes. After that, I need to go to do my thing. It's not personal, by the way.
And I think that's where, on her side, she took it personally that I'd left.
Great, let's discuss it so it won't happen in the future. Can we come to a new understanding here so that we don't repeat that same experience over and over again? Because it's really not personal, but I need to explain to you my thought process, and I'd love to hear your thought process. I think that when we get into this friction, when we get into a conflict, it's really about reframing. It's the possibility to, we don't see things in the same way, and we need to come to a new understanding. That's all it is for me.
I'm still quite irritated in my nervous system with this whole thing. So intellectually, I can hear what you're saying, but at a nervous system level, I'm still a little bit in fight mode, I think. And irritation, frustration, which is, what is that? That's fight mode, right?
It's fight mode in your case, and it needs to be consumed because otherwise it's still there.
So what is that fight about? I still want to fight. I'm still
I'm
irritated
angry.
and angry. Yes.
I'm angry, I'm irritated. I understand intellectually what's happening, but that still doesn't give me any comfort or understanding. I'm still feeling resentment. I'm still feeling judgment. And I have to somehow work through it. So we go back to basics. We go back to our breath, to meditate, to allow it to come out, and until we're at that point where we can come and say, look, I felt really frustrated and angry, but if you're still in it, it's a roadblock for me.
So there's part of me, I guess, that goes to, do I still want people in my life who show up in this way?
Absolutely. Don't get confused. They're your teachers. They're here to teach you to look at yourself and why you get triggered, why you feel all these feelings. When I see, and I've had it for many years with my children, it's been an ongoing struggle. I love time. They see time completely differently, and we butt heads over it.
How do they
So
see time?
to them, it's no big deal. So I'm late half an hour. I let you know, I didn't let you know. What are you making a big deal of it? We're in different locations. Life is, the train doesn't come on time. There's many, it's a whole different approach to time. And do I want to savor this relationship because of time? What am I going to do? They don't see time. They don't show up on time. I get frustrated. I get confused. I can get unpleasant also. And that's where the work is for me. How to set boundaries. It's not about pushing them away and saying, oh, if you can't show on time, then don't show up. But that boundary that we just spoke about, look, I'll wait for you till 4 p.m. After that, I'm going to keep doing what I do.
Because I want to come back to, my tendency would be, after a period of time, is to cut. when people disrespect you. We
That's the
take out our
fight.
sword and we cut, right? It's like,
Yes.
I don't need this in my life. Every time somebody in our lives, in our relationships, does something that disrespects us or makes us feel disrespected, let me own that, or makes us feel undervalued, triggers that disrespect, devaluation, I don't matter, I'm not important, those itchy, scratchy
Unpleasant.
aspects of ourselves. We think that cutting them out of our lives is the answer. And so that you can do that over and over and over again, because eventually everybody's going to do that to you in some way, shape, or
Exactly.
form.
And we do it to ourselves. Forget everybody. We do it to ourselves. You set this time for this conversation. You made a mistake. So, what are the choices? What's on the menu when you make the mistake? Forget someone else. Are you going to be angry at yourself and pissed, or are you going to figure out what could be a solution for the next time? What can you learn from it?
Mm.
And in real time, it's hard.
So I think that was one of the other things that really irked me. I made a mistake. I owned it. And I said, I'm really sorry. I owned my mistake, that I'd miscalculated and I hadn't managed it. That didn't come from the other side. There was no taking responsibility. There was no apology. There was thanks for the invitation, something about miscalculated, and I'm on my way home now. Not I'm
Okay, that
sorry.
is a form of taking responsibility. Oh, that's what you needed and you didn't receive it.
Yes, an apology, a taking of responsibility to say, I'm sorry.
Here's my question to you.
Yeah.
When you're both heated, both frustrated and angry, it didn't work out. Is that the best time to come to a reconciliation and to a new understanding?
No, it's not. But I guess my natural tendency is, if I've messed up, I own it. I take responsibility for it, no matter what, whether the person's annoyed with me or not annoyed. That's for me, right? It's the truth
Have
if I
you?
messed up.
I've been in situations where I didn't take responsibility. I admit
Mhm.
I pointed fingers and I said they would have, and it happens. Look, none of us are perfect. Grace period that we ask for, whether it's time or just, wow, I can't right now, I can't apologize. I'm too pissed at you. Can we talk about it tomorrow when we're both calm and relaxed rather than trying to figure it out right now? It's communication, and in real time, you can't always do it. If I'm still angry at the situation or at the turn of events, I may not be as cordial as I would like to see myself. A lot of empathy is what I find helpful, and sometimes we cannot give it to ourselves. We're so caught up in the situation. And how do you change, going back to your part of your expertise, how do you change a belief in a situation like this?
So, what's the belief? People should value my time. People should make the effort to do their calculations so they make sure that they're on time. People should be doing all of these things.
Bingo.
According
Yep.
to the world of Jacks, of course, people should be showing up and behaving in a certain way. Right? There's that expectation of how people should be. The truth of how we believe people should be is never how people really are, right? They're showing up as themselves, not as who we think they should be. And I think that's where the judgments, the frustrations, the anger, the resentment, in the assumption that people should be like me. Everybody should be like me.
I think you hit the nail on the head.
I'm perfect, of course, you know.
Exactly. And maybe they are like you just don't realize you do have a side that doesn't always hear you. We had an example here that with all your desire to make things happen in a certain way, we lose control all the time. And either we judge ourselves or we judge the other. But the judgment, at least in nonviolent communication, is an opportunity to translate it. I'm pissed at you for not being on time. I have a need for order, efficiency. Now that I can communicate. I'm pissed at you for not being on time. Not a good tool or strategy.
No, I think mine would be, in the communication, is in you not being on time, it really triggered my anxiety and how it was going to impact on everybody else who was waiting for me. So I got caught between the need to not let you down and the need to not let other people, a bigger group of people who were waiting to start the dance down. And now I'm caught between these two groups and my own need to be on time, my own respect for time. And I guess where I'm angry with myself is that I waited a whole 37 minutes rather than the
Yes.
15 minutes that are actually my boundary.
Yes, that's where hearing you, that's really the pain. You weren't honoring your own time in this case. The other person,
After 15 minutes, I would have been in time for the dance.
exactly, and seven people wouldn't wait for you. So we're talking about taking responsibility, and this is that part that claims oneself. There was a misunderstanding. Here's how I feel. Here's what came up for me. Are you willing to hear where I'm coming from? It's not about you, but this is what my experience is.
And I think before explaining where I'm coming from is just hearing where she's coming from, so that I've given first, seek first to understand. Let me understand what happened in your reasoning so that
Yeah.
maybe I can approach it with more compassion and understanding. And then I can tell you what the impact was for me. And then we can
Yeah.
talk about what is the way forward so this doesn't happen again between us.
Yes, I think we skip that phase of curiosity. We get into the fight or flight. Really, it's about curiosity. What happened there? Before I jump to conclusions of what you did, what I did or didn't do, let's stay curious. It did impact me, or you in this case, and I'm confused. I'm having all these feelings.
Mm,
But can you still be curious
mm.
about the other? The strategy comes next.
So if you can step back and break it down into steps. Let's say we have this situation where there's a conflict around time and a misunderstanding. What would be the steps based on our conversation? Maybe let's break it down into a sequence or a organized set of steps as to how we could navigate this to minimize the damage of the conflict and create more understanding so that doesn't happen again in the future.
So there's the facts. The
Mm-hmm.
facts are I scheduled with you at a certain time, you showed up, you didn't show up. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Can't argue that one.
Mm-hmm.
Then I can talk about my feelings. The next stage is what am I feeling about it? I'm frustrated, I'm angry, I'm confused. This is part of the self empathy. I'm going to give myself empathy. I'm going to acknowledge the feelings that I'm feeling right now. Breathe into them. Allow them just to be without judging the feelings that I'm feeling. From there, we move into the needs or the values or what's really important for you. In this case, it's order, efficiency, consideration. These are real values. The judgments are just noise. They're like, oh, they should be on time. Great, translate it. I have a need for order and efficiency. And the next step, once I've given myself the empathy, now I can hear what's alive in you. But first, I need to take care of myself. Otherwise, I can't hear you. I'm so caught up with my own pain. I don't want to hear what's going on for you.
But isn't that the first step? Like before you can even hear the facts, is to be with the pain. Like I said, I'm triggered in my nervous system. I can't hear anything
Exactly.
but my own pain. That's step one before I even get to facts or feelings of other feelings. It's like the what is being triggered or dysregulated in my nervous system and attending to that first before I can make sense of anything else.
100%. Deal with yourself first, regulate yourself, calm yourself down so that you're able later on to have this conversation and say, hey, what happened here?
Mm.
With a sense of curiosity, as we were saying earlier. Because before both sides can be heard, as you were saying earlier, do I put the axe on it? That's one way of dealing with it. The alternative is okay, we know that we're in a disagreement here. Is there a possibility to come to a new understanding for the future? I'm going to wait 15 minutes. I just want you to be aware of it. After that, I'm going to have to move on because I have seven people waiting for me.
But I'm also then giving someone permission to take those 15 minutes in the future,
No,
especially
you
someone, yes, especially someone who has a tendency to disrespect. If I've given them now those 15 minutes of grace, the chances are they're going to take those 15 minutes and I'm going to get pissed off with them again.
No, I understand what you're saying, but that's the boundary. Whether you tell them or not, what is your boundary? What are you willing to do? Forget them a minute. How can I honor myself? How can I respect my time? I know that when I don't respect it, I'm frustrated, I'm angry, I point fingers. No, whether I tell you that you have 15 minutes or not, you have 15 minutes grace. So figure it out. After 15 minutes, I'm not going to be here. I think that the boundaries, working with the boundaries, but you need to, first of all, as you were saying, take care of your nervous system first. It's a practice. We need to practice. We're very quick to judge each other or judge ourselves. These people show up in our lives. Why do I have kids who constantly are late? It's a lesson for me. I just haven't learned it yet fully.
And this person shows up as a mirror for me because there's been other triggers. This isn't the first one. So around time and capacity, what I've got capacity to hear right now, and I've articulated, I can't hear what you're saying. It's too much. And I'm trying to put the boundary and they're not hearing the boundary. So what do you do, Noam, when someone doesn't respect your boundary or doesn't hear your boundary?
There are times where we don't understand the boundaries or we don't respect them. Not because we don't respect them, we just have different boundaries. And we need to see, can we establish a new boundary, a new understanding, or is this going to continue repeating over and over again and I can't take care of myself? So there's a number of ways. One way is to say, you know what, I'm not willing to deal with this anymore. It's a strategy. I do me, that's it. Go
How
ahead.
do you know when it's time to walk away?
You wait till you've processed your own nervous system. You don't make that decision when your nervous system is raw. When you're calm, do I really want this type of interaction? And if I don't, what am I going to do about it? Can I renegotiate the terms and conditions, or is this how it's going to be?
So for me, I have a slightly different question, and that is there enough value in that relationship to still stay? Am I getting enough out of that relationship? What's the value that I get by staying in it? And if there is enough value still, then I'll stay and keep on putting the boundaries in place until they stick. And if there isn't, then it's like, well, there's not enough value exchange for me in this relationship.
So the curiosity, we're going back to curiosity. I'm curious what keeps me in this relationship. Obviously, there are things or needs that are being met here. There are also other areas where it's not being met. It's actually being violated. And now I have to do the balance sheet or some inner resolution as to how I would like to keep going forwards or not. And can I be in acceptance of my choice? Because sometimes we grow out of relationships. It was a wonderful relationship for a period, but we're on different paths. Maybe the answer could be I'll meet you once every month, once every 2 months, and I won't make concrete plans because I'm concerned. But relationships do change over time.
And I think we are in a time in the collective of realignment within ourselves and looking at everything and whether it's still in resonance and alignment with who we are becoming as our most authentic, truthfully expressed selves.
We are in an evolution. We need to decide who we are right now, who we want to show up as. And these mirrors really give you an opportunity to make your choices.
That could take us into a whole nother conversation, Noam, but I think at this point, what we were going to do in 15-minute snippets is now turned into a 50-minute conversation. So I think it's quite a rich and important topic. Seemingly simple is this concept of time and time boundaries is so much more than that.
I'm really curious to hear what someone who's listening to this, what their relationship with time is and how they experience it. Because we understand how me and you see it.
So perhaps if people are watching this and they do want to leave a comment in the chat, we'll post it on YouTube and perhaps upload it to Facebook. And perhaps next time we can figure out how to make this a Facebook Live conversation so that people can jump in while we're busy having the conversation and drop their comments in the chat and talk with us, share their experiences. So we make it we bring these conversations to life with real people and they can pop their questions in and their thoughts.
I like the direction because I think we're all thirsty for dialogue to understand, to see ourselves. And as you were saying, we're moving into new dimensions and we need mirrors.
Hmm.
So
So I'm going to stop the recording on that note.